Hello and welcome to this episode of Cosmic Crow Tarot, a video and an episode that is long overdue. Now, if you've watched my videos in the past, I've got a few out there. I've got all 12 signs of the zodiac and the tarot cards that connect to those astrologically. But I've always talked about the planets too, and I've never made that video. So here we are, and today we're going to go through all of the planets of the solar system, our personal solar system, because the universe, planets, solar system, that's just one piece of the giant puzzle. The universe, solar system, universe, we'll just say universe, is absolutely infinite. I don't even think anybody can truly wrap their heads around exactly how much is out there. That's why the whole, aliens don't exist, we're the only people in the universe. That never made sense to me, ever, because you don't even know how far this goes. It's infinite. That means it never ends. So of course there's going to be another solar system that probably has a Goldilocks planet right there in it that can hold life. So, aliens and everything, totally believe that they exist. There is the Vulcan thing right there. Live long and prosper. The more we get along with each other, the more we get along with the ones out there, whoever might be out there, the more we can, get along and have better lives and stuff, and the more we can live long and prosper. Okay, all that aside, we're just going to do one card for each planet. We're going to start with that first one. We're going to start with the one closest to the sun, which is Mercury. And Mercury is astrologically connected to the Magician. So there is the Rider-Waite-Smith illustration of the Magician. And all of this information that I have in my head of the astrological correspondence stuff came from a book by Corrine Kenner. I believe that's how you pronounce your name. Again, I'm not great with pronunciation, so that's the name that's on the book, the author, it's written right there. I have the ebook, so, I can't just show it to you. It's called Tarot Astrology, and it has all of this information right there in it. And I'm going to leave a link in the description below of where you can get that ebook as well if you want to learn this stuff, because it's really impressive. If you're a tarot card reader and everything, if you have this information, you pull the Magician card and you say the astrological correspondence to this is Mercury. And so they're going to be like, wow, you know that? So that's a really nice little touch if you want to add that to your readings. Plus, it's just really cool to know. Now, nothing in this illustration speaks of Mercury. You don't see the planet symbol. I think Mercury is the little circle with the line coming out from it and a line across that, I'm pretty sure. I've got them all written down on my desk, on Post-its, but, that's across the room, so I'm not going to do that. But you have the illustration here. And, Mercury is the planet of communication and technology. Now, my husband hates when I say this, but when Mercury is going retrograde, and, that happens 3 times a year for about, I think it's 3 weeks or something like that, it really does seem like communication is messed up. And technology screws up. That's when the apps and stuff start messing up on your phone. That's when you go to the grocery store and the credit card machine doesn't want to take your credit card. That's when you tell somebody something and they get confused and don't know what you're talking about. Those you can totally blame on Mercury retrograde. That happens 3 times a year. Now, when the magician comes up, we're talking about communication here too, and the technology that's around him. He knows how to use it. He knows how to grow his ideas. You see, as above, so below. He's taking those ideas and he's communicating to the world. If you look at this illustration, you see the magician staring right ahead. So he's communicating with somebody. He doesn't have all the answers yet, but he has all the things that he needs to communicate his ideas and fake it till he makes it, so that he can make his life what he wants to be, what he wants it to be, so that he can bring his magic into the world. He's communicating it. That's how we make our ideas happen. And that's the energy of Mercury. So to me personally, it makes perfect sense that Mercury is astrologically connected to the magician. And they start with that first letter, so that might be a way to remember it if you're having trouble trying to remember this stuff, because there's technically 9 planets. Well, Pluto, they say is just a dwarf planet, but it's still one of our planets. And the Earth doesn't actually, I don't believe it has a tarot card connected to it, because we are of Earth. So we don't think about the Earth in astrology, because the Earth is so much part of who we are. So we'll remember the magician's Mercury connection this way. 1, magician, Mercury. That connects to that energy right there. That has that the M, magician, Mercury. And then, the communication that it takes, taking action on our ideas, faking it till we make it, and showing the world what we can do with our ideas. That's communication, and that relates to Mercury as well. And then all these tools at his disposal, all the tools that we have at our own disposal, with technology especially, utilize the technology around us and the tools we have to communicate our ideas to the world and bring magic to our lives. There is Mercury. Let's move right down the line and talk about Venus. Now, Venus is a lot easier to like know when you see it, especially with the Rider-Waite-Smith and the Empress, because right there on that little heart right there is the Venus, the symbol for Venus. And I talked to, like, I think Mercury now, Mercury has little horns right there. So maybe that's the difference, because that's clearly just the circle and the line that I just talked about. So I don't have the symbols memorized at all. But right there, very easily found, is the symbol for Venus. Now, Venus is considered the planet of love and beauty and partnerships, I believe, as well. You know, it's astrology connected to the zodiac sign of Libra. Libra is the planet of partnerships, making sure that other person, the significant other in your life, is happy. You know, happy partnerships make happy lives. And it's also astrology connected to Taurus, and Taurus knows the importance, like knows how to appreciate all the finer things in life and all the comforts in life. So the Empress connected to Venus makes a lot of sense there as well, because she knows how to create beautiful things in her life. She knows how to appreciate those things in her life. See, she's a beautiful woman. She's pregnant with new life. She's bringing beauty into the world, creating the life that she loves and enjoys. There's the three, so it relates to creativity and creation itself. And she's creating that. She's creating beauty by following her heart and letting love lead her. You think about like actual life itself, the man and the woman that create the life 99.9% of the time, maybe a little bit less, because there's those times out there when it's not the case at all. But that love is what creates life most of the time. And that's what she does. And that's how it connects to Venus, love and beauty. You know, Aphrodite, she created love, she created life. And you have that energy right there with the Venus astrological corresponds to the Empress. She's the one that has the power to create beauty. And when she comes up, she reminds you that you have the power to create beautiful things in your life too. When you let that feminine side, that feminine energy move forward, like embrace that feminine energy. The Magician is the action. He's the one communicating his ideas, but the Empress is the one bringing those ideas into reality, creating them, because she's focused on making her life beautiful and focusing on what she loves to do. Now, as I said, going down the sequence right here, Earth doesn't actually have an astrological correspondence to the tarot card, but in a way, I suppose, you know, this might be like stretching it a little bit, but since we are of Earth and we are the ones creating the tarot cards, and that's where these cards came from, then the tarot itself is of Earth. So we're going to move right along to the planet right beside us, the one that Musk is swearing that by like 2030, he's going to actually have life on it. So that's going to be interesting to see. Definitely seeing that. I don't know how that's going to work, but it'd be really, I can't wait to actually see how that's going to turn out. Definitely not one that wants to ever move to Mars. I like Earth too much. I like the trees. I like to be able to breathe and walk outside. So no Mars in my future, but Mars in the tarot. I got a little bit confused right there because I had the moon, but we'll move to the moon in a second because I just kind of went right along, so I don't think of the moon as a planet. That's what this one is, but we'll move to that in a second. We're going to move to Mars and the Tower right now. The Tower is the card astrologically connected to Mars. You see it right there. Mars is considered the planet of war and destruction, anger, and all that good stuff. And the Tower very much connects to that. Now, like the Magician, the Tower doesn't actually have any symbology of Mercury. Venus is the only one that appears on any of the cards, if I remember correctly. I know as we go through, we might see them, but Venus is the one that's like front and center. Mars, you don't have that symbol, but you do have that destruction and the war. The energy of Mars is right here in the energy of the Tower. And it's so interesting, too. I mentioned that a bit about Elon Musk wanting to like repopularize or put people on the planet of Mars. And in order to like build a better tower, you know, you learn from that. You learn from the mistakes. You learn from the experiences. You learn from that war and the destruction. Because a lot of people think, and I mean, if Mars is covered in rust, something terrible must have happened there. There must have been life there at some point in order for it to be covered that way and destroyed like the way it is. So a tower situation perhaps happened on Mars, and now someone wants to go and rebuild something on Mars. So it's very much the energy of Mars. It has that war and destruction written all over it. So that astrological connection to Mars right there in the Tower, you know, you kind of feel it. You kind of see it when you see that energy of Mars or see the energy of the Tower. So a lot of these I feel are common sense. You know, the more you think about it, the more sense they make. But, you know, if you can make little kind of ideas, like, I think, I don't remember the exact word here, but like pseudonyms or something like that that can connect you there. War, Mars, turn the W up to, like, turn the W upside down, you have an M, so that energy of the tower right there with the W, you know, there's the Mars. I totally think that's a stretch and that's not going to be remembered for everybody. But remember, war and destruction, that is how you get the energy of the tower. So war, destruction, and anger, everything can lead to the energy of Mars as well. Now, as I said, I missed the one connected to the earth because, you know, if we didn't have the moon is the one, we would have like no life, no plants or land or anything like that, because the moon actually turns the tides and everything like that and keeps us safe, you know, going around us every day. And when it comes full moons and things, you see that moon in the sky and it just, you feel so connected to it. So the moon in the tarot is astrologically connected to the high priestess. So there's the high priestess right there. And like the empress right here, we actually do have that connection right there. See the moon right there, the moon right there, all the phases of the moon. You have the waxing crescent, the actual full moon, and the waning crescent right there. So you have the energy of the moon right there in the illustration. Now, the moon in astrology is considered a planet. No, the moon's not a planet. Considering the being in the sky that is related to the emotions. Now, the high priestess doesn't actually, she doesn't focus on her emotions. She is the two, so she's related to kindness, compassion, empathy, thought process, choices, balance, and intuition. But those emotions of hers, she's focused, she's calm, she's collected, she's learned from the experiences of the past and utilizes that knowledge in order, if you see the Taureau right there, she has all the information she needs to trust her intuition moving forward. And if we are connected with our own emotions, when we are calm, collected, and focused on learning from those experiences of the past and not letting the emotions overwhelm us, then we too can utilize that intuition and utilize that knowledge to make our futures what we want them to be. So the high priestess's connection to the moon, definitely easy to figure out because you have the moons all over this illustration. I mean, with the Rider-Waite-Smith, they're easy to find, I personally feel. So you have those the symbols right there for the moon, because I think the moon is that little crescent right there when it comes to the symbols, and you have it right there, and right there, and right there. So you have all that information right there with the moon connecting to the high priestess of the tarot. Now we have Mercury, Venus, Moon, Earth, and the Mars right there. So that's our first closest planets to the sun. And you know, Jupiter's out there. Jupiter is my personal favorite planet in the solar system. Luck, good fortune, expansion, learning from the past, learning from the experiences, learning all that you can. That's where that good luck and expansion comes from. Astrology connected to Sagittarius, like ruling over Sagittarius is Jupiter, and I've got so much Sagittarius in me that I feel like I'm definitely connected to Jupiter. I can point that guy out in the sky, in the night sky, like every single time. My husband is shocked by this, but I'll just like stand outside and be like, that's Jupiter, and he'll get out his phone, he'll get one of those like sky apps or space apps out right there that can show you all the different planets, and sure enough, the one that I'm pointing at is Jupiter. So big Jupiter out there. Definitely feel a connection to that one. And Jupiter's astrological connection to the cards is the Wheel of Fortune. Now, I love the illustration of the Rider-Waite-Smith of the Wheel of Fortune. We've talked about the energy of Jupiter, even the energy of Sagittarius, this desire to learn all that we can, to expand our minds. And when we're able to do that, then we can spin the wheel and begin the next chapter of our stories, taking that knowledge with us. And what are all the signs of the zodiac, the fixed signs of the zodiac doing in this illustration? Book, 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 book. They've all got books. They're all learning everything they can. They're learning from the experiences of others long before them. They're learning from the stories of the people of the past, and they're learning from their own lives so that they can have that confidence they need to spin the wheel and begin the next chapter. That's where the good luck and good fortune come in. You have that wisdom, and that wisdom can give you the confidence you need to take control and spin that wheel. That connects it to Jupiter. Jupiter's the biggest planet in our solar system. Back to that whole, I can point it out in the sky. It's rather easy. It's usually one of the brightest stars in the sky. It's just kind of sitting over there around all the other ones. I think in like around me, it's close to the astrological like thing in the sky. I don't remember what it's called right now, but Orion. It's very near Orion in my sky usually. So you have that energy right there. You know, you don't have the symbol for Jupiter anywhere in this illustration. It kind of looks like a 4. A 4 is sort of like a J on the side of it. So that's the closest I can get to that symbol right there. You know, easily found online if you're looking for those symbols. And you don't have that symbol in the illustration, but you do have that energy here. They're all learning, they're all expanding, and life is going to move forward because they have that confidence, that wisdom, and that knowledge they need to spin that wheel to shoot for the stars and, you know, expand their lives for the better. So very good. I love Jupiter, yeah. That connection, I think, is like right there with the connection of Jupiter, and you can just like wow people there, you know. Learn all that you can, learn from the experiences of the past, and find the confidence to spin the wheel and expand your lives for the better, and believe that luck and good fortune are on your side, because Jupiter is the planet of luck and good fortune, and it's right there for you when you pull the wheel of fortune. The next planet that we will meet, if we've gotten in our little spaceships and we're mentally going down the line until we get to the end of our solar system, is Saturn. Saturn sits right there beside Jupiter in the sky. However that works, you know, wrap your head around it. Infinite space. And, you know, if we got further, maybe we'll add more tarot cards and have the connections to it, because every single one of these videos, the astrology ones that I have shared, the zodiac ones, we have talked about, and finishing with this one, every single one of the cards connects with a different zodiac sign or planet. Aces and pages don't necessarily connect to any specific signs or zodiacs. I just want to say that so that, you know, if you happen to go through all those videos and you're like, well, she never talked about the aces or the pages, I might have at some point, because it's been a while. It's been like at least a year, maybe 2, that I've done any of those videos. So like I said, long overdue. But aces and pages don't connect to any specific signs or planets or zodiacs. They do, however, connect to the zodiac signs connected to the element. Example, Ace of Cups, Page of Cups. Those both connect to the signs related to water. Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. So those are the ones connected to those, and it goes all the way around, you know, Ace of Wands, Page of Wands, all the fire signs, Ace of Pentacles, Page of Pentacles, all the earth signs, and Ace of Swords, Page of Swords would be all the air signs. So very simple to figure those out as well. Okay, Saturn, hard work, discipline, you know, structure. You think of Saturn, they've got the rings for now, because I think someone said very, very soon the rings are going to disappear, but that energy of Saturn is still going to be there. It's the hard work and effort that goes into succeeding. That's why it's connected to Capricorn of the zodiac, because that energy of Capricorn, you know, they're the hard workers. They're the ones, the signs of the zodiac that can create nearly anything. I love the energy of Capricorn. You know, if they set a goal in their mind and they're focused on it, they can make it happen. My dad told my mom long before, well, not that long before I was born, I'd say, but if she could draw her dream house, because she's an extremely talented Virgo, if she could draw her dream house, he could build it for her. To this day, that's the day that the house that they live in. That's the house that I grew up in. A friend of mine, when I worked in a restaurant, he said he was bored on his day off, and he created a radio out of a soda can or a pop can. How you do that, I have no idea, but the point of the matter is they worked for it. They knew what they wanted, they focused on that goal, and they created the earthly existence that they wanted. They found success, they found the world that they wanted. Hence, the astrological connection to Saturn is the world. You know, you can, like with the Rider-Waite-Smith illustration, the more you look at it, the more like you see that energy. You have that ring right there, surrounding the character in the middle. So you have those rings of Saturn, the success wreath right there, the celebratory wreath. And I never noticed this before until I had these two illustrations side by side. But look, there is the Aquarius sign. There is the Aquarius sign. There is the eagle that can represent Scorpio, because like in older times, I believe Scorpio was really connected to the eagle. The lion of Leo, you see the lion down here? You see the lion right here? So the world and the wheel of fortune are very much connected. You spin that wheel, you begin that next chapter, you focus on what you want, you believe that luck and good fortune are on your side, and you make it. You make it to your success and wealth. You make it to your goal. And I think it's interesting too. See that up here with that candle, or the candle where he's pointing it up to the sky, the magician is communicating his ideas, utilizing the technology that he has. Now he has two, and he's become a woman and he's naked. So there's that as well. But he has that same candle right there. That same passion has led him to where he wants to be, and he's willing to work hard for it. That's how he got there. This whole path, you know, even the war and destruction, you had to let go of what no longer served you. You had to let it fall so that you could begin that next chapter. And there is that success of the world. It's astrological correspondence to Saturn. We're going right down the sequence right there. the world's connection, that we want to find success, we want to find wealth, we want to feel on top of the world, then we have to put that hard work and effort in. We have to discipline ourselves in order to focus and dedicate our time and effort and dedicate our focus on what we want to achieve and find that success and wealth that we deserve and feel on top of the world. And just this the planet of Saturn sitting right there by Jupiter, luck and expansion, that knowledge can only take us so far. We have to be willing to put in the effort and work in order to grow our ideas and find that success. So that hard work and discipline of Saturn connects with that hard work and discipline of the world, showing that hard work and discipline and that focus on our goals and that dedication and effort we put in is how we find that success of the world. So there is the energy of Saturn. The planet after Saturn is Uranus. Uranus. I love calling it Uranus because just like everybody has one of those, everybody has an opinion and a foolish idea on top of that as well, which connects it to the Fool. Right there is the Fool. That 0 right there shows the ideas, the beginnings, whatever he wants to create. He's got the ideas. He's a little bit weird. He's a little bit proud. He has his own ideas and he doesn't care what anybody else thinks about it. So the energy of Uranus, and I might be immature. I might be a dork, but that's fun of life and that's who I am. So that Uranus thing just reminds us, we all have an anus. We all have ideas. We all have opinions that we're fools for that other people might not believe in. But when we believe in them and we take those ideas and we run with them, then we can leap off that metaphorical cliff and we can begin creating the lives that we want because we're fools for them. So the astrological correspondence to Uranus is the Fool, reminding us that if we're fools and we want to stay Uranus, or you want to be calm and collected and maybe normal and not so immature like me, Uranus is perfectly fine. But you do you be a fool for what you want, and then you can create the life that you dream of, the life that you want to dream, the life that you want to live, the life that you're a fool for. I'm running out of room here, so I'm going to have to move things a little bit up. Let's cut off the heads of the Mercury, Venus, Moon, Mars, so we can scoot these up. I don't think scooting them up is necessarily going to work, but there we go. So we have Mercury right there with the Magician, Venus with the Empress, the High Priestess with the Moon that goes around our Earth, that keeps our tides normal so we don't drown in seawater. The Tower is Mars. Jupiter is the Wheel of Fortune, Saturn is the world, the Fool is Uranus, Neptune, the planet of dreams and subconscious and things like that, is related to the Hangman. I'm getting tongue-tied here, but the Hangman is right there, and you see he's enlightened everything. He's taking the time to think things through before he takes action on his ideas. And the major arcana sequence 12 precedes 12 of the Hangman precedes death. So you're taking that time. You're taking the time to look through the illusions, look through the doubt, and focusing on your dreams. So then you can leave behind what no longer serves you and find what does. So the planets in this in the solar system, while we're going in this order, and the tarot, they're not actually in order at all, because you've got the Fool, the beginning of the major arcana, way down here representing Uranus, and the Magician up there right after the Fool when it comes to the major arcana sequence, all the way up there with Mercury. So they're kind of all just a little bit not in a complete sequence, slightly confusing, but here we are. Neptune with the connection of the Hangman. Neptune, you think of the sea, you think of the ocean, and Neptune, I believe, it's a planet completely in frozen water because it's so far away from the sun that it can't melt that water. So we have that energy right there with the Hangman and Neptune. Neptune is the god of the sea, I believe. I think it's in Virginia Beach, down Virginia Beach. We've heard of Virginia Beach, right? There's a statue of the King Neptune right there on the beach, on the boardwalk. It's one of the prettiest things I've ever seen. I got to see it once. But the Hangman's connection there, hanging around, paying attention to those emotions, diving deeply into that ocean of emotion, paying attention to our dreams and our subconscious, moving through the emotions, moving through the ocean of emotion and the illusions is how we're going to make our dreams a reality. So having patience to make those dreams a reality, having patience as we move our mind spaceships towards the end of our solar system right there. Neptune is way out there, I don't think if you actually physically went there, you'd never make it. But, having patience with our projects now, having patience with ourselves as we're a fool for what we want to do because we believe in our own anuses. and we don't care what anybody else thinks. You know, we follow our dreams and don't let the illusions hold us back, then we're able to make our lives what we want them to be too. Create the lives we want. There's the 12 right there, which reduces to 3. Action and thought process are needed. You know, you took the action, you're taking that time to have patience with everything, and that's how you're going to achieve your goals. So we have the Neptune connection to the Hangman right there. And that leaves us with only one. My personal favorite connection to the planets when it comes to the tarot. And it is the last planet in our solar system. It's one that was once deemed a planet, just as wonderful and everything as the other planets. And then one day scientists said, nope, this planet isn't as good. This planet's too small to be as good as the other ones. So it became a dwarf planet. And here we are talking about Pluto. Pluto is our last planet in our solar system. I think for now, things could change, I suppose. But we have the energy of Pluto connected to the card of Judgment. I'm getting so tongue-tied here. Judgment right there is astrologically connected to Pluto, and I love the connection this has to that planet, because like I said, it was once a planet, like a regular planet. It had that energy. You know, it's rebirth, it's transformation, it's letting the things go in order to find what we want, to, like, you know, leave the solar system behind if we were going to do that and move forward and see what's out there. In the major arcana sequence, Judgment is the card that precedes the world. So we have to let go of that past. We have to let go of the opinions of others. You know, opinions of others, like the scientists told Pluto that he was too small, that he wasn't as good as the other planets, but Pluto doesn't care. Pluto is still the planet of rebirth. It's still the planet of transformation. It's still the planet of letting what no longer serves us fall behind, letting what no longer serves Pluto behind, leaving it behind, so that it can still be confident and it can still believe in itself, because it's a planet and I'm giving it human qualities, and you know, that's my own personal problem. But like, that's how you connect it to the cards. You know, judge yourself fairly. Don't let the opinions of others and the doubt and the experience of the past make you think that you can't find that success of the world, because you absolutely can. Leave the doubt behind. Transform your life, having that confidence that you need to make your life exactly what you want it to be. You know, this goes back to the High Priestess with that 20 energy right there. Kindness, compassion, empathy, thought process, choices, balance, and intuition. So you have that knowledge of the past. When you have that kindness, that compassion, that empathy for yourself, when you forgive those things of the past, when you learn the lessons those past have to teach you, and you judge yourself fairly, just like Pluto is judging himself fairly in our sky, and he's not letting other people, like, just because they think he's small, he's not letting that hold him back. He still has that confidence. He's tooting his own horn. He's following his own path. We too, when we toot our own horns, when we follow our own paths, when we judge ourselves fairly in the present, then we absolutely can find that success of wealth of the world and feel on top of the world, as long as we're willing to work for it. So those are the ones, the tarot cards, astrology connected to the different planets of our solar system. We started right here with Mercury being the planet of communication and technology. As above, so below. We're taking those, we're communicating our ideas, and we're utilizing the knowledge and the things that we have technology-wise and otherwise to bring our ideas into reality. Venus's connection to the Empress reminds us we can create beautiful things in our lives. Beauty and love and everything right there with the Empress, saying that we can create lives that we love. We can create beauty in our world when we focus on what we want to achieve and create it. Our moon related to emotions and keeping us safe and everything, you know. Earth wouldn't be Earth without the moon. We wouldn't be strong. We wouldn't be confident. We wouldn't be capable of anything if we didn't take that time to trust our intuitions and have kindness and compassion, you know, not letting our emotions overwhelm us. So there is the connection to the High Priestess, to the moon symbols right there, Venus' symbol right there. So we're really, really confident about those. The Tower, war and destruction, anger, and all that angry stuff, negative stuff, is the astrological correspondence of Mars to the Tower, because the Tower is the the card of war, destruction, and all that. You know, things that we know coming crashing down, so something new can be built in its place, which leads us to that spinning the wheel, beginning the next chapter of our story, learning from the experiences, learning all that we can, believing that good luck and expansion are on our side, and the Wheel of Fortune's astrological correspondence to Jupiter. Right there in that illustration, connection to Jupiter is the Wheel of Fortune. Saturn reminds us that in order to find the success and wealth of the world, we have to be willing to work, put in the effort, discipline ourselves, put in that hard work and effort if we are going to find that success and wealth of the world. Just as Saturn is the planet of discipline, you know, those rings hold us in hold Saturn in place until they're gone. And yeah, that's the hard work and discipline that goes into that energy of Saturn. The Fool is Uranus, reminding us that we all have one, just like we all have opinions, and we believe in our ideas. You know, we're weird, innovative, unique. You know, the connection to Uranus in the zodiac is Aquarius, and you know, Aquarius is the innovative, weird sign of the zodiac. You know, the big thinkers, the ones that want to help humanity, that don't necessarily like humans all that much. I definitely relate to that myself. Going to Walmart on a weekend, or even like Black Friday or anything, no, absolutely not. No, thank you. Too many people. But that energy of the Fool and Uranus reminds us, you know, be weird, be proud, take those ideas that we're fools for and leap into them. You know, believing that luck is on our sides, believing that we have the power to come and find that success and wealth of the world. And then Neptune is the planet of dreams, illusions, subconscious, and all that good stuff, and hanging around, having patience with ourselves as we learn and we make, like, believe in our dreams and take those dreams and do stuff with them. You know, having patience with the process. That's the connection to Neptune. He's got that enlightened stuff. He's upside down, you know, diving into that ocean of emotion, having the patience to deal with those emotions so he can come out of it, leave behind what no longer serves him, and create the life that he truly dreams of. And then, of course, Pluto. Last, but certainly not least, in my opinion, judgment. Pluto knows how to judge himself fairly. When we know how to judge ourselves fairly, then we can find that success and wealth of the world if we're willing to work for it. So judgment's astrological connection to Pluto makes total sense to me. It makes so much sense to me because other people might not believe in Jupiter. Scientists might have said he's too small, but he's still that rebirth. He's still that transformative energy. He's still the one with the power that can change, you know, it's generations. Pluto is the one that moves, like, because it's so far away, it takes its, like, return, solar return. It takes longer than anybody else's. So, like, I think, like, I might be exaggerating. I don't have the exact thoughts and stuff, but it's like 100 years or more that Pluto makes it all the way around the sun. So that energy of Pluto, you know, slow and sweet, taking that time to forgive the past, believe in ourselves in the present, learning from those experiences of the past, and judging ourselves fairly can help us find rebirth, help us transform our lives as well. So those are the 9 planets of our solar system. Earth being replaced by the moon because the Earth doesn't have a tarot card. You know, if you didn't learn if you didn't know these, now you do. Like I said, I'll put a link in the description below of where you can purchase the book for this knowledge as well, because like I said, all of this knowledge came from the book Tarot and Astrology from Corrine Kenner. So if you're interested in learning all that you can, that book has so much information and she puts it so well into words, helping you like learn it and stick in there. Like, this knowledge sticks in my head, so if I do a reading, it's like, which one am I going to use? We'll save the Wheel of Fortune right here, you know? The Wheel of Fortune is, you find that card, you spin the wheel, you begin the next chapter. Good luck and good fortune are on your sides. You've got all that knowledge of learning from the past, and that connects it right to that energy of Jupiter. You know, luck and good fortune, learning from the experiences, not being afraid to go for it, not being afraid to be a fool, not being afraid to have patience, tooting your own horn and believing in yourself. So there is the cards connected to the planets. I need to leave you on your way now. I was gonna like make this video so much shorter, and here we are already like half an hour. So as always, I want to thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you have more knowledge that you did than you had before you watched it. You know, believe in yourself. Take your ideas and run with them. Thank you again for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you again in the next one.